Pennsylvania, because of his continuous involvement and generosity in our communities. And I've known Tom for a while, and trust me, he's one of the most sincere, honest, giving persons that you'll find in. We go, you know, you're a good kid.
Well, thank you. I'm honored. Thank you for having me on the show.
Sure. Well, I got to ask you. This solar eclipse is
this
coming
is
tomorrow
cool.
on Monday. First of all, what makes it happen? What is it?
Okay, so there's a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse.
Right.
So basically think about the sun, and in this case tomorrow, the moon's going to pass in front of the sun and block the sun's rays. So that's what we mean by a solar eclipse. So just the opposite happens when we have a lunar eclipse. That's when we get in the way of the sun rays going to the moon. So we've seen those before. So the first thing to mention is that eclipse is actually pretty common. Usually happens about twice a year. What makes this one a big deal is it's going to be able to be visible across most of the U.S. So sometimes an eclipse will happen, but you'd have to be in the middle of the Atlantic to see it, or you'd have to be, you know, in the Andes Mountains or something where it's not so popular. So that's what makes this one a big deal, and obviously it's been well advertised. So it happens tomorrow in the afternoon. Can't wait.
Wow. Well, they're talking about totality and partial eclipses. Now, here in the United States, there's certain areas we're going to see it in its totality, but here in central Pennsylvania, it's not going to be that way. Can you explain that whole thing?
We sure can. So kind of think of a map of the United States, and it starts in Oregon.
Okay.
This is the path of totality, as you call it. That's where they're going to see the total eclipse and go dark. So we're talking about Oregon all the way to South Carolina. So think right through the heartland. So that's a pretty narrow strip where they're actually going to see a total eclipse, and that's why a lot of folks are literally getting in buses and driving to the areas where they're going to see total eclipse. So I mentioned South Carolina. One of the big places that's hosting something is Clemson University. They're in the path of totality. So a lot of the scientists, a lot of students and things are headed that way. So we, as you get further away from that path of totality, will get less and less. So we're going to be in what we call a partial eclipse, which means about 77% of the sun is going to be blocked.
So here in central Pennsylvania, if we want to see it, we'll only see part of it, but we still have to take precautions with our eyes, right?
Oh yeah, and that's one of the things I really want to emphasize. So this is going to happen tomorrow, starting about 2, peaking at 2:40. Okay, that's when we'll be right in line with each other, and then a little less as we go toward about I think 3:28 in the afternoon. So that's basically the window. It's a pretty tight window here. So you mentioned we don't want to look directly at the sun. This is so important because it's a really cool thing. Your instinct is, oh, I want to look at it. So that can really do some damage to your eyes. So what happens is we have those rods and cones in our human retinas, and they're very sensitive to light. And you've probably done this before, where you accidentally glance at the sun and all of a sudden your vision kind of goes dark, and that imprint of the sun is stuck in your vision.
Yeah, when I was sober, I didn't. No, I'm kidding.
That's good to know. Good to know. But the problem is it only takes a few seconds for you to be blinded a bit. And the concern from a lot of optometrists is that people are going to wake up on Tuesday morning with hazy, blurry vision that isn't fixable. So we want to emphasize that sunglasses don't work. You have to have special solar filters, and this is both for your eyes and for your cameras as well, because you don't want to damage your lens. So the first thing is protection. The better idea is to actually look away from the sun, and there's a couple techniques you can use, but basically the simple one is to you'd have a sheet of paper or a piece of cardboard, and you put a pinhole in one, and then another piece of paper or cardboard back behind that, and you let that image of the sun shine through the pinhole and actually reflect on that other piece of paper. So it's real easy. If you look up, there's a couple of websites I want to pass along, eclipse2017.org, how to make one of those. It can be a simple box, it can be 2 pieces of paper, just something to project that on, and that's the safest way to do it. I don't know if you heard, but I believe Cumberland Valley decided to delay their first day of school because
they didn't want. I was going to bring up. Yeah,
they don't want kids out there. Yeah, and they don't want to be responsible for some kid who looks up and stares at the sun too long. So while it's a cool event, you do have to take the proper precautions. So anybody listening to this and going, oh, how do I look at it? Make sure you look up the safest way to do that. And again, there's a lot of cool techniques to do that, but make sure you use your head.
I've often thought about your weather weenies, your little puppies. They're certainly going to be inside at that time.
Right.
But there's cows outside, and you can't put sunglasses on all these cows. I mean, how's that going to impact them?
Well, normally